brutal case now on a national stage. A Harford County mother of 5 goes for a run on a popular hiking trail in Bel Air, but never returns home. Her body found stashed in a storm drain. Her suspected rapist and killer here in the country illegally. This week, the family of Rachel Morin will be fighting for justice with the long-awaited high-profile trial for the accused, Victor Martinez Hernandez, set to get underway with a pretrial hearing tomorrow. Traffic delays and road closures are already expected around the Harford County Courthouse. And joining me now with insight into what may play out in the courtroom, we have legal expert Rachel Morin. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So this is expected to be a 2-week trial, a lot of eyes on it. We're hearing the first witnesses are expected to be the last people who spoke to Rachel before she disappeared, her boyfriend and her 2 oldest daughters. Broadly, what do you think the prosecution strategy will be here, and what do they need to do to win this case?
Listen, I think this is going to be a very emotional case. There's also obviously a lot of physical evidence as well. There's DNA evidence, but I think particularly with the 2 witnesses that they're choosing to have out front, as you said, the former boyfriend and 2 of the daughters, it's going to be a very emotional case. And I think it's important that this case stayed in Harford County. That's going to be an important factor because that means that the jury is going to be a local jury. And to hear the stories and the testimony of people who knew the victim so well, I think it's definitely going to play into that strategy.
And look, I mean, Martinez Hernandez seems to have a lot stacked against him, an alleged violent past. He was here undocumented, and federal immigration authorities claim he was expelled on 3 separate occasions. So what strategies do you anticipate the defense will take?
You know, that's an interesting question because at this point I'm surprised that they didn't accept a plea deal or that there wasn't more negotiating. Maybe there will be. Tomorrow is scheduled to be a pretrial hearing where any maybe last minute negotiations or plea deals may take place. I think it'd be a very, very difficult defense, especially given the fact, as I said, that their request to change the venue was denied.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, do you think because the defense wanted to change the venue because they thought that, their client doesn't have a chance at having a fair trial with all the media attention it's gotten, do you think he can have a fair trial?
I think the facts of the case are going to make it difficult for him to be successful wherever he is. And the fact that this was a national news, that this story became national news, the president even discussed this case. And so I think it would be difficult for him to get much sympathy anywhere in the country. I can certainly understand the argument that it'll be more difficult than anything in Harford County, but keep in mind, I mean, still the facts of the case are the facts of the case, regardless of where the jurisdiction is or where this case is heard. But I do think, that because you have the way that we pick juries, and it could take up to 3 days. I think in this case, they've scheduled 3 days to pick a jury. They're going to do their utmost best to make sure that this case moves forward with as fair a jury as possible.
Yeah, we know local law enforcement reportedly used DNA evidence to not only tie this suspect to Morin's murder, but also to a home invasion and assault in California. So, we're talking about those hard facts of the case. How crucial will that DNA evidence be in proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
I think it's going to be very, very crucial. And again, that goes to the facts of the venue, right? The issue about venue and whether or not it would make a difference to change venue from Harford County to some other place. But I think it's going to be incredibly important.
Yeah, the Harford County Sheriff says he's hoping for life without the possibility of parole. Do you think that that's possible here?
I do, given the nature of the crime and just how brutal it was. I think that it's a very real possibility and one that the defense is certainly considering.
We're talking about potentially 3 days of jury selection. How crucial will that be, the people that are chosen and what happens in this case, the outcome?
I think it's going to be incredibly crucial. When going through the jury selection process, there are certain strikes that the defense can make. There are certain strikes that the prosecution can make. But ultimately, it is to try to get just a group of peers, right, that can decide this case. But given the nature and given the facts of this case, I think the jury selection is going to be incredibly interesting, and particularly the types of strikes that the defense make. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch.
All right, legal expert Rachel Morin, thank you so much for weighing in and for all your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.